Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Ayala. I am the mother of two. I have a 15-month-old and then a just turned 3-year-old. So on this channel, I share about our home Montessori, respectful parenting, and our homeschool journey. Because I guess I'm homeschooling kids. I still feel weird calling it homeschool since my oldest is still just turned 3, but getting more and more comfortable calling it that as we are doing more homeschool sort of stuff. So today I wanted to talk about our morning basket, which is something that we have done in some way, sort of since my son was born, but I will get into that. But I want to talk about how we do it, what it is, what's in it, and how it's changed over time. So, what is morning basket? I feel like this is a term I'm super familiar with just from the homeschool world, from hearing about it a lot, but I realize not everybody is, so I want to just give a little intro of that. So morning basket is similar to like a morning meeting or a morning circle time maybe would be in school, but at home, it's just a time to gather together with your children, however many children are there, and have some learning together, some different things together. And that can look like a million different things for different families. So I'll talk about what we do and how that might look different for other people. So as I mentioned, we've done some sort of morning basket kind of from the beginning. So when people ask when I started this, I often like to say like 18 months. Around then when I started going over the routine, our daily routine with my son and all of that. But really before then, we would do prayers together. We would read together in the morning. We'd sing songs and we would have this sort of morning gathering circle time. Morning basket sort of thing. Now, why is it called morning basket? Ours is in a physical basket, so many people put them in a basket, and it's just a way, a place to put and to gather your stuff. So that's where the name morning basket comes from, but it really is just a morning meeting, circle time, whatever. So we started with morning basket basically from the beginning when my son was, born more or less. I'm not exactly born, but we did sort of prayers, we did reading books, we did some of that from the beginning. And over time, it has evolved to what it is currently, and I'm sure it will continue to evolve. A big change recently was my daughter started joining us about a month or so ago. So she was with us for it when she was really little, and she'd be asleep on me, and then she started going to my husband for a bit, and she would sleep on him during that time. He would hold her while she slept, because he works from home, so it's easy for him to take her while she sleeps. So we did that for a bit, and now she's having longer wake windows. So she's been joining us, and that has changed things a bit. It's been fun though. So then now it's both of them. And I'm gonna go through what's in our basket, what we do, and how we structure it. So we always start with prayers. I have these prayer books. There's another one that my son uses. We have these. So we start with prayers. We have just 3 short prayers that my children know well, or well, my son knows well. Then after that, we do a nature poem. So I have this book. I've been using this for a couple years now. And ultimately we miss a few days here and there, but it's 366 poems. This year we got to read the extra one. So it doesn't feel repetitive or anything. So there's a poem for each day of the year, divided by seasons. It's randomly flipped to a page, but they're divided by months and then the days. And they're all designed to fit with the season, and there's snow for winter, and about blossoms and blooms and planting and spring. And I really like that as a way to sort of connect with nature. We try to connect in our everyday life and all of that with gardening and all those sorts of things, and really noticing the leaves and doing crafts and all those things around nature. But I like this poem as just a way to sort of frame that in our morning and to add some poetry in. So this book has been great. We've been using that now for, as I said, like a couple of years. Since my son was probably about 1. We've been doing that, and both my children enjoy it. My son really loves the poems, and he sometimes asks me to read the poems again, and I'll read it again, or I'll go back and read some of the ones we've skipped if he's really wanting more poetry, which sometimes he is. So that's next, after prayers, is our poem. And then after that, we go through the alphabet in this book. So my son knows the alphabet really front and back. He knows the alphabet really well at this point, but we still do this book, and he still really enjoys this book. But my daughter loves this book. So as I said, she's 15 months. She is not learning to, read. She's not learning her letters or anything. But how this book works is there are motions, and you say the sounds and do the motions for each of the letters. And my daughter loves this. She'll do a lot of the motions along with us, and she smiles so big, and it's so funny because you sometimes even she will hear these letters and she'll start doing them. Like she'll hear someone say A, she'll go ah, like it's very funny. She really, really enjoys this. So obviously I am not trying to teach my 15-month-old phonics in any way, shape, or form. But she loves this book and my son enjoys it fine. And as I said, he's very familiar. He really knows the alphabet. We're doing a lot that's far beyond the alphabet at this point, but he likes it still. And he likes it particularly because my daughter likes it so much. He likes to do it and get her doing the motions as well. So that's next. We go through this book. We've been doing this book since my son started showing interest in the alphabet, which was a few months ago, February about. We started doing this book. And that has been super helpful for him learning the alphabet. So those kinesthetic cues are super helpful. And yeah, I just really think it provided fun and he really enjoyed that for learning the alphabet. So after we do that, so far we've done prayers, we've done our nature poem, we've done the alphabet. I open up the whiteboard. Let's see what's on there currently. This is going to be old stuff. Okay. So I open up the whiteboard and up here, you can't see it. I'm gonna move this. Up there, we have the day, the date. And so I go through what day it is, what the date is, and we sing a song. We sing Sunday, Monday, happy days. So the happy day, I'm not really singing it there because my singing voice is so terrible. I don't want to do that. But we sing the happy day song. We change it a little bit to fit with our family. I think it's something about a party on the weekend in the actual song, which we don't do. That doesn't really make sense for children. We change it up. So regardless, we go through, we do that song, talk about what day of the week it is. And this is just to have some familiarity with days of the week and the cycle of that. And going over as the days go up, and we talk about anything that might be coming up. So when it was around my son's birthday, for example, we would count how many days until his birthday, things like that. So that's next. And then we come over here. I write 3 or 4 words over here, and they are always missing some letters. Usually, so historically, when I first started this, they would just be missing first letters. Then they started just missing like last letters sometimes, and sometimes a mix. And then I've started adding in missing middle letters and also digraphs. So we have learned, and some blends. So that's what we're working on now with that. And I just want to say for that, we love this. My son loves this. My son is really, really into phonics, and I don't want to set this as some sort of expectation of what you'd be doing at 3. And that really goes to all of this just is what we are doing and what works for our family. A lot of these things work at any age. Like I said, this nature poem works at any age. Honestly, in many ways, even this phonics book, like my daughter loves it. And again, I'm not trying to teach her phonics, but that can be fun to do at any age, for the most part. I mean, I would not be doing it with her alone if she was my first child, but she does enjoy it. Poems any age, prayers, songs, talking about the day of the week. Okay. This sort of thing we started doing because my son was interested. He had learned the alphabet, and we were sort of moving on to what was next. After that, after he'd really knew the alphabet, he knows all the names of the letters, all the letter sounds, upper, lower, etc. So at that point, we were moving to what was next. So this is sort of a what's next of that, which is filling in sounds that are missing. And I like doing this on here because it practices him seeing my handwriting for one, which when we first started doing letters, he could not read my handwriting, but he has learned to, read my handwriting, which is obviously different than print. And it works on the fact that he will say the letters. So I will say, what does Shabbat start with? And he says SH. And he's saying them, the actual names of the letters, and I'm writing them. So he's hearing the sounds, saying the names, seeing me write them. I am not working at all on him forming letters with a pen or anything like that. He's way too young for that. It's not something he's interested in, and it's not something I'm anyway pushing. He'll randomly form a few letters, and it's just not something I'm actively encouraging in any way. Those hand muscles are still very much developing. We're working on fine motor skills in other places, so it's just not something I am encouraging, but I like that he sees here me forming the letters, and so he gets some of that modeling. Okay, so again, I would not say every child at this age should be doing this. This is really, all of this with Morning Basket, with all of this sort of stuff, should be guided by what your child is interested in, where they are, and all of that. Okay, this is where my son is. So I write 3 words. And these would generally have something to do with either what we're learning, what the day is. The day before we had rain on here because it was raining, so I put sun. This I wanted Shabbat, so we were working on this digraph. We had worked on the SH digraph. And spring because I wanted to practice that blend as well. And it is the beginning of spring, so that one. So then what we do, I also try to mix up syllables a bit, because then we sing the song, Hickety Pickety Bumblebee. We sing the song, and it has how we do it. So I learned this from Project-Based Primary. I have her phonics course, it's super helpful. But what we do, I went a little further than what's in her course on the recommendation for it. What I do is we say it, whisper it, say it loud, and then clap it, stomp it. So when you're clapping and stomping, you're working on the syllables, and that's just really good practice. And then he's, seeing it. Sometimes he will sort of he'll say the words, sometimes he won't. Anyway, so that is what we do with these words. And often they are connected with what we're learning. We've had a lot of flowers up here, a lot of things about gardening, things like that have been super common because that's what we have been learning about. When there's a holiday, we'll do holiday things. And then I try to put in some sort of letters or like digraphs, blends, etc. that we're working on. So that's what's there. Again, we're doing, the next one I'm going to be introducing ing soon. So that one I'll probably put back on the board another day to work on that, putting in that after we have introduced ing. So that's that. And then, as I said, we sing that song, super fun. And then on the other side, you can sort of see, and I need to just, okay, on the other side, you can sort of see here, we have here again, as I mentioned, we were working on digraphs. So I have, SHCHTH, and then these are 3 short words that he can blend. So after that, what I'll usually do is if there's a new one I've introduced, I actually also this day introduced and so I took and I have a card for it somewhere. I have a little card that's and what I did is I took out the movable alphabet, and then he will blend or and, he blends it, he says the word, I take it out, put it on, we use the movable alphabet, and I'll add an S, and he says sand, and that's just a great way to build some of that fluency and to practice some more blending. So that's generally what we do after this, but this is the last part of Morning Basket. And then I kind of take him to the movable alphabet, do that if he's interested in it. Sometimes he's not, sometimes he is, whatever. I don't push it. And then after that, we move into shelf work. And so at that point, if there's something new on the shelf, I'll often introduce it. It's up to him what we're doing, but sometimes I will bring something and recommend and say, oh, would you like to see this? There's something new on the shelf. Introduce whatever is new, and then he goes and does shelf work, or we go and do practical life or anything like that. But my daughter, after this whole thing, after this, when I bring out the movable alphabet usually, I bring her upstairs to my husband who helps her get down to sleep, and she starts her nap because she can generally handle this. She enjoys it, but once the movable alphabet is out, it's just a lot of small pieces and not ideal for her. So that's what our morning basket looks like. As I said, we added this pretty recently. So this had previously been letters. We would go through some letters as he was learning them, the ones we were learning, but he kind of quickly learned them all. So then I would put letters that he was a little more shaky on up here, mixed with some really easy ones so that we could have some of those super easy ones he knows so well, mixed with some of those more challenging ones that got him some practice. So that's something we did until I started introducing the digraphs and some more blending. At which point I put up a few more other things to practice that. So that's it. That's what Morning Basket looks like. And as I said, it's grown over time. So I'd say beginning, it started with the prayers, the nature poem, and then
we would read a book, which sometimes we still also do at the end, but often we'll do shelf work for a bit and then read a book like a little bit later in the morning once he's done some shelf work and stuff. But we added this, and then after adding this, we added the whiteboard and added these activities. So he enjoys that, all of it, but it's evolved over time. We also do often read a Bible story sometimes during morning basket, usually at the end as well. So that varies a bit. That used to be pretty consistent, that would be the end of morning basket, but as we moved into more of this phonics stuff, it made sense to transition from this to the movable alphabet, and so we often read these later in the day now. It really can look like whatever you want, you know. We are religious, so we have prayers, but it might not look like prayers for you. It might look like affirmations, or it might look like just doing different poetry or doing anything like that. Your child might be into phonics. They also might not be there yet, or they might be past there and they might be doing something else. I like to have it be things that are not too challenging, but warm his brain up. So I wouldn't put brand new things out on the board necessarily. I'm doing things that he's sort of, you know, is familiar with. And then like for this day, we added another blend, but he also can blend these words. So it's not like brand new for him. So I don't want anything super hard. I wouldn't put anything super hard. It's just a nice way to warm up, and we slowly warm up with, you know, with the prayers, with the singing, with this book, with poems. Slowly warm up, and then this more challenging stuff is at the end after that sort of warm up. So again, that's what it looks like. Thank you so much for joining. As I said before, I hope this is helpful, and let me know if you have any questions about morning basket, what ours looks like, what it used to look like, what it is in general. Thank you so much. Have a good one.